This is Channel 25 WVTT Olean. Now, from the Twin Tiers' biggest broadcast news operation, this is the 6 o'clock report with Jeff Andrulonis and Alexa Olson. Listen on News Radio 96.7 WVTT or watch on News Channel 25 WVTT television. WVTT proudly presents the 6 o'clock report.
Good evening, I'm Alexa Olson.
And I'm Jeff Andrulonis. Good evening. The big story tonight on the 6 o'clock report. And a story you're hearing first here on WVTT. You might remember the 1974 Olean High School shooting. Now a victim of that shooting is paying homage to the victims of last week's Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. With more on the story, let's go live to the WVTT Digital Newsroom. WVTT's Valerie Tysaner standing by. Valerie, what's the latest?
Jeff, George Pankow says he survived the second mass shooting ever to hit the U.S., which made the events on Friday that much harder to hear.
Every time there's a shooting in the school, I have a little relapse. Nothing that I'm going to die from, but I do lose a night's or 2 nights sleep.
When George Pankow heard about the shooting at Sandy Hook's Elementary on Friday, he says he was transported back 50 years to Olean High School. It was December 30th, 1974, when a sniper entered the halls of Olean High. George Pankow was the assistant superintendent at the time, and he says he barely escaped with his life. 17-year-old Anthony Barbaro had set up shop mere feet from Pankow and began shooting people from a window on the 3rd floor of the building.
So you think if there had been a window in there?
Absolutely. I would not be here telling you this story. Because he heard me out there, he said. He didn't know who it was. Helping the wounded. He was behind that door, 6 feet away from me.
While Pankow escaped that day, he knows that many others weren't as lucky. When he heard the names of the victims from the Newtown shooting, he was hit especially hard.
Luckily, not our Caroline, but somebody's Caroline. That they love them just as much as we love our Caroline and as much as we love them. That's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing on December 21st for those 20 kids.
And he says he's holding a luminary service on Friday at 6:30 at Lincoln Park to honor those who fell in Newtown. He says people of all faiths are welcome. In the WVTT Digital Newsroom, I'm Valerie Tysaner. Back to you in the studio.
Valerie, thanks so much for following up with Mr. Pankow. Also, I do want to point out that we'll have more information tomorrow morning on Twin Tiers Morning News on News Radio 96.7 WVTT and here on Channel 25, and also an extended version of the interview with Mr. Pankow on our website. That's twintiersnews.com. Alexa?
Well, Jeff, on Monday, Congressman Tom Reed extended his deepest sympathies to the victims of those affected by the Sandy Hook Elementary shootings, but debated the issue is bigger than just gun control. Reed expressed his concern over limiting the public's freedoms and stepping on the Second Amendment's right to bear arms. Instead, he discussed a fundamental issue, saying, quote, "I want to make sure we debate the root cause, the individual behind the gun. How do we get them the help they need?" However, Reed did say he thinks an assault weapon ban will be part of future legislation, Jeff.
Threats to blow up the big refinery in Bradford. Now a Bradford man is under arrest facing charges. He's in jail tonight. Police identify him as 39-year-old John Patrick Rose, charged with making terroristic threats and a laundry list of other charges after police received a call from American Refining Group in Bradford saying that a disgruntled former employee was trying to force his way into the main building at the plant. Police apprehended Rose as he allegedly fled the scene in his SUV. Rose apparently got out of his car and yelled that he had a military background and that he was going to blow up the refinery. Police say Rose told the police to shoot him so that he would be dead like those kids in Connecticut. That's a quote. Ward, the police also say that when Rose was placed in the police car, he smashed his head repeatedly against the windows. Rose in jail tonight in lieu of $57,000 bail. He was a subcontractor at ARG who was let go last week.
The Virginia man accused of murdering the Clymer school superintendent will face a judge in Chautauqua County tomorrow, Wednesday, the 19th. Anthony Taglianetti is accused of driving over 6 hours to shoot Keith Reed Jr. this past fall. Authorities say that Taglianetti believed that Reed was having an affair with his wife while the two were separated.
A convicted Olean sex offender faces new sex charges tonight, a new sex abuse charge, and failing to notify the New York State Sex Offender Registry of a change of address. Here he is on your screen, 34-year-old Nicholas Harper, charged with third-degree rape and third-degree criminal sexual act of a 15-year-old girl back in 2004. Now Harper faces another charge of third-degree criminal sexual act for engaging in oral sex with another person without their consent. Harper pleaded not guilty in court on Monday.
And Jeff, a Wellsville teenager is being charged with rape tonight. The 18-year-old was arrested by Wellsville police on Monday afternoon. He is facing charges of rape in the second degree and endangering the welfare of a child. He's being held in the Allegheny County Court in lieu of $2,500 bail. He will reappear in court on January 15th.
The Jamestown man who had more than 500 milligrams of cocaine in Cattaraugus County earlier this year, sentenced to 2 years in prison. 24-year-old Princeton Blount was found guilty as a repeat offender on charges of criminal possession of a controlled substance.
A New York State trooper has been fired for allegedly organizing parties that involved prostitutes. State police announced on Friday that 41-year-old Titus Taggart was terminated from his position with Troop T in Buffalo. The parties allegedly took place while Taggart was off duty. As a result of the investigation, 2 other troopers have been suspended without pay. Authorities say 41-year-old Frederick Franklin and Mark Hugnail allegedly engaged in misconduct not related to those parties.
A local man has died after being hit by multiple vehicles in Shelby. The Orleans County Sheriff's deputies say that 47-year-old Joseph Tillinghast of Medina was walking in the road at night when he was struck by 4 vehicles. He was initially hit by a man from Lockport, then hit by several other drivers. No charges filed as of this afternoon. An autopsy is being performed on Tillinghast's body, but it's unknown if he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of the accident.
Police are looking for a hit and run in Potter County. State troopers say they found parts to a newer model black Ford Mustang on Route 6 just west of Route 449 in Ulysses Township. They say the car hit a guardrail, spun around and hit the guardrail again, then drove away from the scene of the crash.
Big meeting in Olean last night. About 100 people showed up at a workshop to talk about reconstruction of North Union Street. Business owners and residents met with city officials to discuss changes to that section of town to attract new businesses and more people to North Union Street. They hope to make the street more accessible to vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians. 11,000 vehicles use North Union Street on an average day. At peak times, that's up to 500 vehicles per hour.
Well, Jeff, Memorial Day may be months away, but the Foster Township supervisors have extended an invite to the local American Legion to move their annual Memorial Day celebrations to their township. Now, American Legion Commander Don McClellan told media outlets that the city charges for the use of Veterans Square during the Memorial Day ceremony. While township supervisors have offered the use of their park for free, the veteran organizers, including the Legion, will most likely remain in downtown Bradford. After learning about the fee, Colonial Media and Entertainment has decided to work towards deferring those costs. WVTT's Josh Hatcher will be doing a series of live broadcasts in an attempt to raise enough money to pay for the next 5 years of expenses. We'll continue to keep you updated on those locations. You can always go to our website, twintiersnews.com, to look for the latest breaking news on that, Jeff.
Alexa, the popular picture-sharing social media site Instagram is creating quite a stir tonight among their users. They've changed their terms of service. According to the terms of service, effective on January 16th, Instagram now has the right to take users' uploaded photos and use them in ads without permission. Many owners have already threatened to cancel their accounts. Instagram says users have ownership over their photos, but that by adding them to their account, they're giving the service the right to use their content. The stipulations do not apply to pictures shared before the new terms go into effect. Still to come tonight on the 6 o'clock report, our first look at weather, and it's looking more and more like we will be seeing some of the white stuff later this week. Details straight ahead. Also coming up, more fallout from last week's school shooting in Connecticut. WVTT's exclusive team coverage straight ahead. And also still to come, WVTT's Wall Street wrap-up. Stick around. This is News Channel 25 WVTT.